Yep, a lot of you have been requesting a video about gothic metal for a while now, and as basic as it might sound, Type O Negative and Lacuna Coil are too iconic not to talk about, so let's start now. Before the word gothic metal was coined, there was already metal music inspired by gothic imagery like Black Sabbath, who used occult and horror-inspired themes in their songs. Another example is the album Phantom of the Opera by Iron Maiden, inspired by gothic literature, obviously. In the 70s and 80s, gothic rock was well known for incorporating darker themes and sounds like baritone vocals and minor keys. Examples are Susie and the Banshees, The Cure, Bauhaus, and Field of the Nephilim. Likewise, death rock, a heavier style that branched out of gothic rock, helped lay the foundation of gothic metal with its dark, atmospheric yet heavy sound. Bands like Christian Death were influential to gothic metal in general. Some bands did explicitly mention their influences from gothic rock, like Type O Negative were not only inspired by Bauhaus and Sister of Mercy, but also other bands in other genres like Black Sabbath, The Beatles, The Ramones, and Pink Floyd. Katatonia got influences from Field of the Nephilim. Likewise, Paradise Lost was influenced by Sister of Mercy, Susie and the Banshee, and early The Cure. They even have some Sisters of Mercy cover songs. If you want to know more about gothic rock in particular, I've made a video talking about its history, bands, and elements. You can check it out in my channel. Then in mid-80s to 90s, there came newer genres of metal, especially death doom metal. Death doom is a heavy metal subgenre that combines the slow, heavy, and dark atmosphere of doom metal with the aggressive vocals and intensity of the death metal. When you put it together, and death doom often features deep growls and slower tempos compared to other metal genres. Some popular death doom bands include Paradise Lost, which would later shift into gothic metal style, Winter, Mourning Beloved, Disembowelment, and Sempiternal Death Rain. A heavy metal band that helped establish the genre was Celtic Frost from Switzerland. Apart from various metal genres, they also took inspiration from gothic rock bands like Christian Death, Bauhaus, and Susie and the Banshees, which helped bridge the gap between metal and goth rock. Paradise Lost was one of the precursors of the gothic metal genre, with their album Gothic released in 1991, using melancholy lyrics and melodic music with guttural growl, and it was the name of this album that helped solidify the term gothic metal. Paradise Lost was known as one of the Peaceville 3, a group of bands who were influential in developing the death doom metal genre and later also the gothic metal genre during the 90s. Other bands in this trio are My Dying Bride and Anathema. The reason these three bands were called the Peaceville 3 was because they were signed to the Peaceville Records, a British independent heavy metal record label. Here's a bit more info about the other two bands. My Dying Bride was an English doom metal band formed in 1990, with their 1995 album The Angel and the Dark River being their early gothic metal album. Anathema was an English band formed in 1990 as a doom metal band. They began moving toward a gothic metal style with their album The Silent Enigma in 1995. After that, there were more bands that released songs in gothic metal. Some of them used to be a part of death doom or doom metal like Anathema and Katatonia. Some bands like Rotting Christ started as black metal before shifting to a gothic style later. Other pioneers and early gothic metal bands include Lake of Tears, Monumentum, Tiamat, Charon, Moonspell, Lacrimas Profundere, To Die For, and The Gathering. Among the pioneers, Theatre of Tragedy is the band known for establishing the Beauty and the Beast vocal style, which includes harsh growls or the beat sound, paired with clean melodic soprano vocal, which is the Beauty sound, which would also become popular in the symphonic metal genre. Some other gothic metal bands that have songs in the Beauty and the Beast vocal style are Tristania, Penumbra, and Trail of Tears. In America, a band that makes gothic metal more well-known globally is none other than Type O Negative. Type O Negative was formed in 1989 following the break-up of the thrash metal band Carnivore. They are a bit different from other bands who had backgrounds in death doom. The band was led by the famous, charismatic, and iconic lead singer Peter Steele. Their best-selling single, Black No. 1 Little Miss Scare All, released in 1993, became a staple on MTV's Headbangers Ball and solidified their place in metal history. Similarly, the Italian band Lacuna Coil gained significant traction in the early 2000s with their albums Comalis in 2002 and Kamekode in 2006. Their music video also frequently appeared on MTV, making gothic metal more well-known to the mass. Apart from the United Kingdom and America, gothic metal is particularly popular in the Scandinavian countries, especially Finland, with bands like Sentence, Silentium, Charon, Hymn, Lullacry, Poison Black, To Die For, and Cinnamore. There are also a lot of bands in Norway too, like Theatre of Tragedy, Serenir, Tristania, The Sins of Thy Beloved, Trail of Tears, and The Crest. Despite the rising popularity of gothic metal, it unfortunately didn't last very long, especially after the death of Peter Steele in 2010, and Type O Negative discontinued the band 7 months after that. Of course, that was not the only factor why gothic metal popularity declined. Other gothic metal bands started to shift towards symphonic metal, which is more approachable for the general public. Examples of this case are After Forever, Within Temptation, and Nightwish. Meanwhile, some shifted to other styles like Cradle of Filth is regarded now as a mix of extreme symphonic black metal. But that doesn't mean that gothic metal is entirely dead. Poison Black, a Finnish gothic metal band, has just reunited again in 2023 after they disbanded in 2015. Likewise, the band Charon will do a Fall of Angels reunion tour in August and September 2025, and Moonspell will have a Wolfheart tour in September and October 2025 as well. There's also something new like Cemetery Skyline, which is a new Finnish-Swedish gothic rock metal supergroup just formed in 2024. Gothic metal bands are still active and release new albums, like My Dying Bride has just released a new album named A Mortal Binding in 2024. And the album Sleepless Empire by Lacuna Coil in 2025 is an absolute banger. Characteristics. The thing about gothic metal is that the genre has branched out so much that the style of each band can be so diverse and the term could be so loose that I don't even know if I would be able to explain it properly. But since it derived from death doom, gothic metal can be aggressive like death metal or even slow and heavy like doom metal. One gothic/doom metal I like in particular is And Hell Will Follow Me by a pale horse named Death. Gothic metal is also inspired by gothic rock music, especially with baritone vocals, dark atmospheric moods, minor key sounds, and melodramatic lyrics. Compositions of gothic metal are often with heavy or mid-tempo riffing. Some bands may incorporate waltz or classical rhythm as well. Though not limited to gothic metal, keyboards are one of the most common instruments used for emulating string instruments, pianos, organs. The Beauty and the Beast vocal style, which mixes a clean soprano vocal with guttural ground, is common in gothic metal but not a requirement. This approach is also widely used in symphonic metal, and there are songs in gothic metal that doesn't use the Beauty and the Beast vocal style. Lyrical themes commonly found in gothic metal are romance, death, sorrow, despair, existentialism, mythology, fantasy, or inspiration from gothic literature. There might be many symphonic metal bands that are also gothic metal, but I can assure you these two are not the same. Symphonic metal is not a subgenre of gothic metal. Symphonic metal focuses on orchestral sounds, like operatic vocals, violin, cellos, and trumpets. Can also come from keyboards mixing with bass and drums. Meanwhile, what's most important for gothic metal is not the symphonic nor the melodic sound, it's the dark and melodramatic atmosphere from its lyrics or instrumentation. Many gothic metal may have symphonic sounds, but a lot of them also use ethereal synth or industrial sounds or even more aggressive sounds since they were originated from the death doom metal. If I have to compare, in my opinion, while symphonic metal is dark and beautiful, gothic metal is kind of beautiful but also mixed with sadness and crushing despair. Like in my experience, it's a bit easier to find uplifting symphonic metal than finding an uplifting gothic metal song. Though actually a lot of people start to use the term symphonic Gothic metal after so many bands integrate both Gothic imagery and also lean towards the symphonic style. And my favorite band for this style of music would be Blackbriar. My favorite song when I started to listen to this band was Crimson Faces, which is based on the Gothic book Rebecca. You would not be able to guess how much I screamed when I first heard words like the bottom of the sea, Mandalay, and rhododendrons appeared all in one song. That's what I have to say for now for Gothic metal. To be honest though, even though I do listen to some Gothic metal songs, I don't really have extensive knowledge about the genre before you guys suggested I should make a video for this topic. But at least some bands were already my favorites, like Type O Negative, Tiamat, and Lacrimosa. But I've also discovered my new favorites like Mandragora Screams, Theatre des Vampires, and The Old Dead Tree during my research. What about you? What's your favorite Gothic metal band? Any underrated band you want to share with us? You can comment those down in the comment section because I know that I haven't mentioned all of the bands in Gothic metal yet. And that's it for today. I hope you have an amazing day. See you on the next journey. I'm using a pop filter for this video. I just bought it recently, not sure if it helps or not, but if you notice the difference, or actually even if you don't notice the difference, please do tell me.